BeerStreet boys, alright!
Hey guys, how you doing out there in BeerStreet Boys land? How you doing?
Hi!
We're celebrating St. Patrick's Day. Oh. And Dave, talk us through what's going on here, because we've got beer, but we also have this bottle of Jamesons you found.
I was quite excited when I saw this at the bottle. I went to get some Jamesons.
All I can read is beer barrels on the back, so it has something to do with beer.
It is a collaboration with a craft beer brewery in Dublin, and it is whiskey finished in craft beer barrels. Why don't we enjoy our Guinness, then we'll just sort of get into that one.
Absolutely. Here's cheers.
Cheers. I can't remember what you're supposed to say, but yeah, that's fine. We're not going to discuss Guinness. I think every beer drinker in the world has drunk Guinness.
Absolutely.
It's delicious. There's not much to say.
It's everywhere. It's the epitome
Dark,
of the
it's
Irish
tasty.
pub. It is, yeah.
Oh.
We've travelled around a lot around the world together, but we've never been to Ireland together. So you've been?
Yes.
And you've been?
I have been.
And I've been. Well, my fondest memory of Ireland is actually going to the St James's Gate, the Dublin, the original brewery of Guinness. A couple of barrels of malt got caught in a fire and they got toasted, and that's where you get the colour. And it's a terrific yarn, and it does seem to taste better there, and it definitely tastes better on tap in an Irish pub.
So, Seamus and Patrick went to the Guinness factory, and they were drinking together, and they had a lovely night, and Seamus's missus was at home, and Patrick arrived the next day and said, "Oh, terrible news. Seamus is drowned in one of the vats of Guinness." And the wife said, "Well, that is terrible. I hope it was a quick death." And he said, "Well, perhaps not, because he got out 3 times to take a pee."
My earliest childhood memory was actually having lunch in a park in Ireland. We pulled over, had like a camper van. We were travelling throughout Europe. The folks had a little gas cooker at the time, and they were cooking up some pasta, I believe, some spaghetti we were having in the park that afternoon. But they said it was quite funny because they had wound up in that park a little bit by accident, because the road crew that were there line marking the road had to themselves stopped off for lunch in the park, but forgot to turn the line marker off. So as they'd been marking the lines in the middle of the road, they then just driven off into the park and kept marking the white lines off in the park. So the legend goes. So.
I stopped off at a pub in Dublin, my wife and I. My father was there too. And we had lunch just down the road from the Guinness factory.
Did Baz have a Guinness?
No.
No.
I did. I think my wife had too. And it tastes pretty good.
I was actually there with my parents. My father and I'd go down to the pub. You know, you walk into a pub in Australia, you can start a conversation, but you'd walk in the door and you'd sit down and it'd just be on. You were never a stranger. It's a culture unlike any other in terms of the pub life.
I think that's like the talk.
Well, that's what we're doing today. We're just sitting here talking.
And I think that's where the whole history of what's it called, the crack.
The crack.
I think that's where it came from. They just started to sit around and talk and tell jokes and tell stories and make fun of each other.
A mate of mine, a bloke I met, Paddy, he's from Cork.
Paddy?
Yeah, Paddy.
His name was Paddy?
His name was Paddy, yeah.
Okay.
And he was telling me a story that he has a really good mate, Bono. And anyway...
Yeah, that's believable.
That was... Saturday knocked around and Paddy was at Bono's place and they were quite bored and said, "Well, what should we do?" And Bono said, "Well, why don't we go fishing?" He said, "Oh, okay." So I've never been fishing before, but let's go fishing. So what do we do? So we'll go to a bridge somewhere, and I don't know, we don't have any rods or reels. We'll go to a bridge, and then I'll lower you down by the feet, and you reach down, and when a fish swims past, you grab it. And okay. So you go to the bridge, and Paddy lowers Bono down, and he says, "When you got one, just let me know, and I'll pull you up." He said, "Okay." And after about 5 minutes, he said, "Okay, you can pull me up now." And he said, "Oh, have you got a fish?" And he said, "No, the train's coming."
Anyway, enough of the frivolity. Let's get into this. Jamesons.
All right, let's have a look.
I'm really curious. So I want to be tasting beer, right? Or notes of beer.
Yes, yes.
Before I drink it, I'm slightly sceptical.
You want the beer to complement the whiskey.
So it's the result of a collaboration with our neighbours at 8D Brewing. They borrow our casks to age their fine Irish pale ale, and when we then finish our signature whiskey in these IPA seasoned oak barrels. So wait a minute, they've whiskey in them, then they get the IPA, then they come back,
brewers and they bring them back and then they finish it.
So I'm thinking
Notes of pale ale.
I'm thinking it's a little bit of a beat up, and it's probably just going to taste like Jamesons. Because ultimately,
It's already had whiskey in it beforehand.
yeah.
I definitely do feel like the Peaky Blinders drinking straight whiskey in the middle of the day.
Do you go ice, or are you?
No.
You're not a purist. I tend to
I quite like to drink it straight.
Yeah, me.
straight, or just with a little bit of water can release the flavours.
I feel like I'm smelling something a little bit sweeter.
Irish
than-
whiskey is always a little
it is
sweeter.
Yeah, I know.
And
But I'm
smoother.
just,
It's very nice.
Bloody lovely.
wow, that's really smooth. On first impressions, it was quite malty.
So they're claiming it has the classic smoothness of Jameson, and I agree.
Yep.
With notes of hops and a light, crisp finish.
I'm definitely getting crisp finish, and I reckon it's sweeter than the normal Jamesons. But
I
it's
think
been a
so
while
too.
since I've had.
Yeah, I haven't had it for a while, actually.
But that is delicious.
Oh, it's
That's
lovely.
really good.
I mean,
I
if
don't know,
they're talking about a pale ale, it could be like an Amarillo hop in there, which is quite fruity.
Okay.
Is there any fruity esters? Can you have any? Is there
Give me
fruitiness?
another try.
Look, it's flipping on and off. It's very sweet but smooth, and I think there is a little bit of a fruity taste there. I'm not quite sure.
But see, that if we're talking hops, you'd expect a little
That's right,
bitterness,
yeah,
and there's
that's what I
nothing
think.
bitter in there.
No, there is no. That's why I'm saying the pale ales, they use more fruity hops rather than bitter
Yeah,
hops.
sure.
True. Yeah. Okay.
So,
Look, it's a nice idea, and it's a
am I just
cool.
imagining?
It is a cool bottle. I mean, it looks so Irish, and it's so. I just love the graphic art.
Are we just?
I was drawn in. St. Paddy's Day.
St. Paddy's Day.
I think in Australia it's not a big thing. Some people wander down to the Irish pub, but we're not like dyeing the Brisbane River green. You
Well,
know.
this is true, and most of the time it falls on a weekday, so we've all got to work. So we're not, out on a Wednesday, hitting the pub in the morning.
But we are here celebrating it.
Absolutely.
We won't tell you that it's February while we film this, but it's St. Patrick's Day, and we love you. And here's cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
All right.